Hey guys, in this week's review of the new features and functions within SMS version 3.5, we're going to continue with our series about navigation and some of the new querying capabilities within eSuite Care. We're going to continue our education and dive a little bit deeper into the application by going through a very specific scenario from start to finish. And I think it's going to be one of those scenarios that a lot of you are going to find familiar in many ways and also going to find useful as well. This scenario is going to be especially useful for those folks that are already collecting customer level data all the way down to the items that they purchase in the individual transactions. I'm going to show you one way at least to do a little bit of basket analysis and how to use that data to help increase sales. So the scenario is pretty simple when it goes like this. I'm analyzing some movement data from a couple different subs that I'm interested in. One of those subs just happens to include hot dog buns. I see I'm selling a whole heck of a lot of hot dog buns, but then when I go and I look at my movement report on hot dogs themselves, I see I'm not selling that much. So let's take a look at how all that data that I can collect at the transaction level by customer can be used and manipulated so that I can try to get the customers that aren't buying hot dogs to buy hot dogs from me. So without further ado, let's hop in. So there's several different ways to start this scenario, and I'm going to do it one particular way just because I can start off by showing you the functionality of the new coupon wizard within SMS eSuite. So I'm on my main screen here of SMS eSuite Care. Now don't worry, some of the data is missing here and you can't see some of it quite well, and that's just because I have my screen shrank down so that I can process this video a little bit better. So what I want to do first is I want to create the offer, create the coupon that I'm going to use and assign to specific customers to try my hot dogs. Here's how we're going to do it. First, I'm going to go ahead and select items. I'm going to select masters. It's going to open up this new wizard here. You can see I got a coupon list here. I can look at all or new. We're just going to go ahead and create new, and the new coupon wizard is going to pop up right now. So this new wizard has a new look and feel, and yeah, we don't have to memorize all the hieroglyphics with all those letters in the method field anymore. So it's just like the old SMS that you're used to. You're going to go ahead and hit plus here to start one off. I'm going to come over here to value type, and then for this particular demonstration, I'm going to do percent off, and it's going to default to 1. I'm going to type in 50, so I'm giving 50% off of what I'm creating. I'm going to come over to coupon type and I'm going to select targeted. Now I'm already going to assume that most of you are aware what targeted coupons are, but basically it just means that I'm getting one and you're not. We're going to specify that here in just a second. In the descriptor, I'm going to go ahead and paste in the description that I had off screen. You can see it's try our beef franks for half price. For the sub department, I'm going to go ahead and assign that to my sub department meat. I can do my handy dandy search, double tap there, and that's going to go ahead and put that on. So the first part of our coupon is already created. Well, that was pretty painless. Now, what do I want this coupon to look for in terms of requirements or criteria? Well, let's come down here and add it. I'm going to add criteria. Come up here to this new wizard. I'm going to select type, and for this particular demonstration, I'm going to select item sales. Now, I know most folks like to use PID, and that's fine. It's just item fits here better because I'm in a make-believe world. I can come up with all my items and scroll through, or I could type in a description here, and I know in my make-believe world, it's going to be beef franks. That's the one I want. I double tap that, and now it's going to bring me back to the wizard. What do I want the customer to do? Well, they got to buy one, and since these things are sold by the each, I want quantity, a minimum number of 1. Am I going to allow this particular offer to be used multiple times by the same customer in the same transaction? No, not interested in that. It's one time because this is a trial, and that's what makes the most sense. Do I want the discount that we're giving away, the 50% off, I should say, to affect this item sales? Yes, that's what I want to do. Check that because it is an offer about buying hot dogs. Do I want this condition to only participate in one offer? Yeah, I don't want sales or any other types of coupons that I have out there to affect this particular offer, or do I want this hot dog that I'm trying to get the folks to buy to affect other offers? So just this. Manual description, I'm going to paste in what I had off screen just because it's a little bit simpler that way and make it nice and pretty so it'll show up on the receipt. Hit OK, and we just added criteria. That's pretty simple and pretty darn cool. All right, we're almost done. I didn't have to mess with any methods or letters or any of that sort of thing. I'm going to choose the funding. In my case, it's store, just like what we're used to before. You can select event type here, but I definitely want to limit the quantity of this discount to only 1 in a transaction. I'm going to go ahead and hit 1 there, hit enter. You're going to see the system is going to assign the code for us automatically following the default SMS or lock software approved coupon structure for the item number. So that's all developed for us. We're all set to go. Since I hit enter after I double tapped, or I double tapped enter after the quantity limit here, you can see it went ahead and saved that file. We're ready to go. Our coupon is good. So I can go ahead and close out of this. And if we want to go ahead and hit the coupon list all, we're going to go ahead and show you that right there's the coupon recreated. It's a percent off, 50% off. So now we're pretty much done with setting up the offer. Let's go start digging into some of that customer data that we have. So the next step in this process is a little bit different than the methodology that we used in SMS 3.4 and other previous versions. So instead instead of starting with items, we're going to start with customers. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird for most of you grocers out there, but just bear with me. It's just a new way of going and getting the data that we want. It's nothing different in the thought process, at least yet. So hopefully this will come easy for most of you. Now, instead of starting at the items and diving into customers like what we used to, we're going to start in the customer menu and dive into items there. So we're not going to go look at customer names and all that sort of thing. We're just going to come over here to the main menu. We're going to hit the little arrow down and then double tap on the clients button here to bring up our new wizard in the customer section. And down here towards the bottom, item totals. That's what we want to work on. So if I tap that, it's going to bring up a little wizard here that we're going to set up, and I'm going to show you how to use. So in this new wizard, basically what I'm going to do is go back in time a little bit. And I'm going to select the monthly data and I'm going to back it up to the first part of May. So I'm going to pull and query data from the 1st of May until basically today, mid-July or so. I'm going to drop down here to the middle section here of this wizard. I'm going to add criteria. Just like what we did for the coupon we created, I'm going to add criteria to this customer query that we're running. When I hit that button, I get a handy dandy little pick list here of all the elements that I can search on in the customer file. And when I come down to the bottom, I can see item criteria. That's what I want. I'm going to select 2, item start, item stop. Those 2, I'm going to hit OK, and now those options are going to be available for me to select as criteria in my query between this month and that month. So this part's relatively easy. We're going to hit the drop down here. It's going to pop up our wizard. Now remember our scenario. I wanted folks that bought hot dog buns but not hot dogs from me. So if I type in buns for you keyboard warriors, if you tab, then hit enter, it's going to bring up that item. Here's my hot dog buns. I'm going to go ahead and double select that, or I could enter. Now you can see it's my item start is here. It's already highlighted. Control C on my keyboard, tab, I'm back to that second line, Control V to paste that. So I'm looking only at one item in this particular case. Now I could add some other criteria if I wanted, but this is all that I really need. Except I'm going to drop down here by item. I'm going to query from this month to this month customers that bought this item, and I want to see the item detail in the result query. So if I hit execute, the results are going to pop up here in just a second, and voila, there they are. And this next step is completely optional, but it's a way to show a tip within a tip. Remember, all these new reports now in SMS eSuite are fully configurable by the user. I'm a user, I'm sitting on the other side of the screen, and I don't like this. I don't know what this goofy number is here. I know it's item code, but heck, I can't remember. I'm going to hit that drop down arrow, come down the columns, come over here to the item options and hit item description, and look at that. The description of that item shows up here. So now I know what I'm looking at. I can see quantity and all that stuff. And one of my pet peeves, I hate when they show weight over here. So I'm going to go ahead, go to the same thing, come down here to what the heck is that? That is movement, and I don't want to see weight. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that, and it got away. So there, I've set it up the way I want to see it. I can see the quantity sold and the dollar amount sold, the customers that bought those hot dog buns. Now that's pretty cool, and that's pretty similar to what we used to do in the old SMS Pro days. All right, cool. Now we get into some really fancy stuff. It's not hard, it's just fancy compared to what you're used to for those of you still on SMS 3.4. I've got this result of the query that has come back here, and it shows the customers that bought my hot dog buns from the month of May through so far the month of July. I can come down here to the bottom, I can hit the menu button, and I get a couple options. Well, I don't have an offer yet within the screen here, so I can't really edit it. But this subquery thing, I've been screwing around with this and trying to figure out a good scenario to show you the use for this, and this is it. I just found it. I'm going to pull up this subquery option, and look what it did. It created a new wizard here for us to query on. So basically, this is like an old filter and browser in SMS Pro, but double, 2 of them. I've got one filter where I pulled this stuff. Now I'm going to pull up another filter that's related to those search results and dive down deeper into the search results that I've already searched on. A subquery, and that's exactly what this is. So to set this up is real simple, and it's pretty repetitive from what we just did. We drop down here to item totals. We go ahead and select that. We're going to go ahead and select the month again and select the same periods. That only makes the most sense. Now I'm going to drop down here to the grid layout. I'm going to add criteria. I'm going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom again, and I'm going to select item start, item stop, just like what we did before. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to search for the items, and this time it's Frank's that I'm interested in. I'm going to tab, enter. You can see there's the coupon we created, and there's the beef Frank's that I'm interested in. So now I just have to hit enter, and that's going to show up. Control C, tab, Control V. Same setup as we had before. The same months. And the criteria this time is on the hot dogs themselves, not the buns. I'm going to come down here to buy item. You'll see here in a second that this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. And then we got this magic little button right here. Just like we used to have this magic button in SMS Pro, show only the customers that have no movement. I'm going to go ahead and select that. We're going to execute it, and let's see what happens. Well, looky there. That's pretty cool search results. Let's go through this and move the window around a little bit so we can understand what it is we're looking at. You know what a really cool feature would be? And since you guys are customers, tell Francois and the guys next time you see them that this would be a cool feature and they may add it. Is when you run a subquery that the results would show side by side, just like that. You saw I just drug the window over a little bit, just like you used to in all other Windows applications. I've got the original search results here, and I've got the secondary, the subquery results here. So remember what we did. We ran a query on customers that bought hot dog buns. These are the folks. Then we ran another query based off of those results only for folks that didn't buy hot dogs but bought buns. That's pretty cool. That's what we got right here. Now let's take a look at this report, because you're wondering probably, why is there a bunch of zeros over here? And that's an excellent question. So you're probably saying to yourself, Self, why the heck is there blank data up here? Well, remember, we ran it on customers with no movement of hot dogs. These folks didn't buy hot dogs. I don't know. They just didn't want them. They went somewhere else and bought their hot dogs. We proved they bought buns over here, and I can look at that data, but they didn't buy the hot dogs. So there's no item to put in here because they didn't buy it. So there's no item, there's no quantity, there's no amount, and there's this god-awful weight out here again. None of that's there because we selected no movement. Now, to prove to you that this works, I'm going to come back here to Wizard, and I'm going to uncheck the no movement and execute that filter again. Look what happens. These three chaps, the presidents, ex-presidents, all bought hot dogs. They also all bought buns. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And because of this magic little button right over here on the wizard of that subquery, when we hit yes, and I run those queries, the results show up. These guys didn't buy hot dogs. These guys bought buns. The difference between the two is what I'm interested in. The guys that didn't buy hot dogs are the ones that I want to target. Now that is really pretty darn cool. All right, so we got the data that we want. Now what are we going to do with it? All I did was drag that window from the right over to free up some screen here, since we're kind of compressed in this. So I've got the customers that didn't buy hot dogs, but they bought buns. Now what am I going to do with it? Well, this particular step is very, very tedious. So when you see Francois and the guys, tell them to make this more automatic. So what you have to do to make use of these customers in this query is come down to menu and run another subquery. Now look at this. Holy moly, we've run 3 queries. We've got 3 filters open, and we're soon to have 3 browsers open. Unheard of in the old SMS Pro days, but we're doing it here in SMS eSuite. All we're really doing this for, come up here to general list, hit execute so that we can get those customers into a format where we can start to work with them. That's the only reason we did that tedious step. Now that we've got the 3 customers that didn't buy hot dogs from us in a format where we can manipulate the data, we're going to take 2 different paths. I'm going to show you one way to go about this, then I'm going to show you another way. And through this methodology, I'm going to assume that nobody has integrated e-commerce or phone app or any of that. We're just going to use standard old POS, and we're going to use some archaic communication techniques to communicate with these particular customers. So let's just say you got Constant Contact or MailChimp or any one of the gazillion different varieties of email template makers out there. Well, look, we've got the 3 customers. We've also got the email addresses sitting right over here. Well, that's pretty darn cool. All I have to do to get that out of SMS eSuite and import it into Constant Contact, MailChimp, whatever it may be, is hit the little Excel doohickey right up here. And I'm going to say go ahead and send all columns. And what it's going to do, you can see it working here. It's going to spit out an Excel spreadsheet right here. So if I open up that spreadsheet, it's going to pop up a window here. And I'm going to have to make this a little bit smaller so that you can see it. And in this window is the CSV export. So I can save that to my hard drive, and I can go upload that into whatever my third-party email template is. Simple as that. Make a pretty email template and send it out. You got the data that you wanted straight out of SMS eSuite. Pretty simple. Now, the other option we have to communicate with these particular customers is to send an SMS, a text message, directly within eSuite. That's pretty cool. You can see in my customer file here, I've got the cell phone for at least one of these chaps, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Now, all I'm going to do is come down to the Actions button here, and I'm going to send notification. I'm going to bring that up, and now a template name wizard is going to pop up here. And that template name, I'll show you this in a second. I'm going to go ahead and select the template that I created all by my lonesome here called eSuite Care Texto Hot Dogs. I'm going to select that, hit OK. Now with much of SMS, you know we can't have blank fields. The system just doesn't like it. So come in here and just type test. This is not going to show up anywhere in this text message. And I'll show you the actual text message here in just a second. For effect though, I'm just going to go through the steps. So we've selected our text template. We had to put this in because it can't be null. It's just one of those SMS things. We hit execute. Well, there it went. We sent out a template via SMS text message to that particular cell phone, to that particular customer who hasn't bought hot dogs since the 1st of May from us. That's pretty cool. Now, if we want to take a look at those messages, the templates themselves are in your Office CGI folder. Now, my resellers are probably going to yell at me for showing you this, but they'll get over it. It is what it is. It's a pretty basic template. It's sitting right here. The base one out of the box is right here. eSuite Care Texto Thanks. All I did was copy that, paste it, rename it, and I called it hot dogs. The way that looks, let's clean up the screen a little bit, is pretty simple. Open it up with any text editor that you want. And you can see I just added a message out here. Please check your account for valuable offers designed just for you, SMS store. Now all this gobbledygook up here, well, it's some of that coding that we do in SMS, but I copied it from the one that's out of the box, from that one that was a thank you text. All it really is doing is hitting the database, the customer table, and it's pulling first name. So when this text message comes across, it's going to say, "Hi, Jamie. Please check your account for valuable offers designed just for you. SMS store." That's pretty cool. Pretty simple to do as well. And we communicated to the customer an offer. You know, that offer we just created. Oh crap, it's a targeted offer. We didn't assign it yet. Well, hopefully he won't read his text real quick. Let's go ahead and assign that offer right here in this window. No worries on this. Assigning offers, especially those targeted ones that we just created a few minutes ago, to the customers that I'm interested in is super duper simple. You bring up the customer list where we can manipulate the data just like what we have here. We go ahead and highlight the customer. We come down to actions and assign offer. A new little window is going to pop up here, and all I have to do is an offer code. Hit that drop down, and if I remember right, it was something about Franks was in the definition. So if I hit the go, there's the offer. Try our beef Franks for half price. It's highlighted. Click OK. Everything is looking good here. Now all I have to do, typical SMS fashion, hit the plus. It's going to show up. How many times do I want this customer to get the offer? That's what this offer quantity is. Just once. I want him to try it one time to see if he likes my hot dogs just as much as the guy down the street. And I'm also going to go ahead and clip because I want the customer to interact with me in some form or fashion. And I'm going to show you that in just a second to get this particular offer. Hit save, and there you go. That offer is now saved to this particular individual to get 50% off of hot dogs on his next visit to the store. All right, fantastic. That was pretty easy to do data mining, pretty easy to set up my coupon, pretty easy to assign my coupon to the specific customer I was targeting. Now let's see if all this stuff worked. I'm in my standard POS, same one you guys have seen forever and ever. I'm going to go in and have the customer sign in, however the heck it is that you have. You can see this is the customer we're interested in. Now I've got mine set up in a little cheater here. I'm going to go to my ketchup demo, and I'm going to go ahead and buy the hot dogs. A coupon doesn't show up even when I hit subtotal. Why is that? Well, remember, we said clip the coupon. The coupon has to be clipped. I want that interaction because I want the customer to know I'm giving them a great deal. Now, you can set this up at the POS in SMS 3.5. You don't need a phone app or e-commerce or any of that necessarily. You can have that stuff and it'll work just as well. But at the POS, you can have a feature called Clip Coupons. The coupon that we created shows up. Remember, try our beef franks for half the price. We clip that offer. Clip the offer. If I hit it, it's ready to roll. We can go ahead and close this bad boy out. Now when we hit subtotal, the store coupon fires. It was 50% off of those beef franks, and the customer is super duper happy. So just in a quick review, think about what we did. For all you folks that are out there sitting on the fence about whether or not to put in eSuite Care, think about what we just did. We took customers that bought hot dog buns between a 3-month period. From that search results, we found customers that did not buy hot dogs. Makes perfect sense. Whether you choose hot dogs or buns, it's irrelevant. Customers buy in meal components. And if you can find customers that bought certain elements of a meal, but not certain elements of a meal from you, target those customers with a store coupon to get them back in your store to buy more stuff. Remember, it's about $1 more spent, one more visit to your store, one more item in the cart. If you don't have one of those three, what's the point? That's why we went through this. And with SMS eSuite, it's pretty darn easy. You can put in eSuite Care and you can manipulate and work with some of the data that you've already been collecting, and it's super simple. We just saw it today. Well, that's it for this week's tip. Until next time, have a great day.